He went to Rebbe, and Rebbe told him to take a bird and essentially shecht the bird over the flax pool. The moths will be repelled or repulsed by the smell of the blood and will leave the flax alone. So if you remember again, the Gemara said, how could Rebbe tell him to do that? After all, we learned that if you shecht an animal and you need the blood, you're still chayiv in kisui. But you would not be able to do kisui under these circumstances. So also we had two different versions in the story. So one version said, according to Rav Dimi, he said, you're right, Rebbe said, say terof, make the bird a treifa, and then shecht it, so it won't be chayiv in kisui. And Ravin said, the second version said that Rebbe said to Rabbi Chia, nechor, stab the animal, right? Choke out the animal. That way again, that way it'll die without shchita and won't be chayiv in kisui. So we're trying to figure out the nature of these different opinions. It says the Gemara, Amarli l'man damar tzei terof, my time l'amar tzei nachar. It's according to the opinion who says that Rebbe told Rabbi Chia to go ahead and make the animal a treifa first before shchita. Why didn't he just tell Rebbe to choke the animal or to stab the animal, i.e. don't shecht it, and therefore won't be chayiv in kisui? Because maybe you'll say that opinion holds that there is no shchita for a bird mid'oraisa, or nechiraso zo shchitaso. And maybe again, therefore, if there's no shchita for a bird mid'oraisa, I will say that maybe the stabbing of the bird is the equivalent of shchita. V'atanya Rebbe Omer, kasher tzivisicha, but yet Rebbe himself said, Pasuk says, kasher tzivisicha malamed, shenetztave Moshe ala veshet v'alakana, so that Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded that by a behema, you have to shech the veshet and the kana, the windpipe and the esophagus, v'arov echad ba'of, and a majority of one simon by a bird, v'arov shnayim b'behema, and the majority of two simonim by a behema. Top of Peivav, you're right, which the Gemara said, Lomi Bai Kamar. So the Gemara said, Lomi Bai, we'll say Lomi Bai, remember again, means you don't have to say this and certainly this. Lomi Bai, say Nachar. So certainly again, it goes without saying that if Rabbi were to tell Rabbi Chia to go and to stab or to choke the bird, the lav shchita, hiklal, that's not a shchita at all, and certainly would not engender the obligation or not create the obligation for kisui. About seitirof, but had Rabbi told Rabbi Chia to make the animal a treifa and then to shecht it, ema shchita she'ena re'uya shma shchita, maybe say that a shchita she'ena re'uya ultimately again is a shchita, v'libai kisui, and maybe therefore it should require kisui. Kamash mulan kid Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Therefore again the Gemara says that no, we follow Rabbi Chia bar Abba. So the man the Amar say nachar, my taima lo amar tzei taruf, and about according to the opinion who said that Rebbe told Rabbi Chia to go stab the animal. Why didn't he tell him to go and make the animal a treifa? So maybe you'll say because he holds that a shchita that's unfit is still called the shchita. Ra'a Rebbe Dvav Rabbi Shimon Bekisi Hadam V'Shar Lashon Chachamim. But yet again, we learned before that what Rebbe accepted the opinion of Rabbi Shimon that shchita she'ena re'uya lo shma shchita when it comes to Kisei Hadam, and in fact he codified this opinion by calling it the wording of the Chachamim. To which the Gemara says Lomi Bai Kamar. In reality, I will say again, once again, we have lashon of Lomi Bai. Lomi Bai will say means you don't have to say this and certainly this. Lomi Bai say taruf the shchita she'ena re'uya lo shma shchita. So we'll say goes without saying that what? That halacha l'maisa. If you go ahead and if you say that Rebbe told him to go out to make the animal a treifa, that a shchita she'ena re'uya is not a shchita. About say nachar, but had he told him to stab the animal, right, or to choke the animal, ema ein shchita la'of min haTorah. I might have thought that maybe again this is an issue that there is no shchita for of midaraisa or nichiraso zo shchitaso, and therefore again what Rabbi say, the stabbing of the animal or the choking of the animal, that's the shchita. Therefore, v'li by kisui, and therefore you should be chayiv in kisui. Kamashma that is not the case. Kasher tzivisicha. Therefore, we'll say ultimately again. Therefore, the pasuk says kasher tzivisicha that yesh shchita la'of midaraisa. Okay, so Rabbi says. So now the Gemara asks as follows. So bottom line, although we have a machlokes as to what exactly was said, bottom line is that Rebbe tells Rabbi Chia, essentially, go ahead and kill the bird in a way that's not shchita. Kill the bird in a way that's not shchita, and if it's not shchita, if there's no shchita, then there is no obligation of kisoi hadam. The only time you have an obligation for kisui hadam, for the dam of an oaf, is when there was proper shchita for the oaf. No shchita, no kisui. So the Gemara, I will say now, asks an interesting question. Umi nafil ya'aniva bikisna. Well, this is actually quite beautiful. But tell me, do moths attack flax in Eretz Yisrael? Does that even happen? V'hamar Ravin bar Abba, v'amar Rabbi Avin bar Shiva, misha'alu b'nei hagola. I will say, when the Jews of Bavel came back to Eretz Yisrael, pasku hazikin, v'azoos, v'haruchos, v'hara'amim. So this is actually quite amazing. When the pious Jews of Bavel came back to Eretz Yisrael, so this is actually quite amazing. So zikin are meteors. The meteors, zoos, Rashi says, are earthquakes, ruchos, strong winds, ra'amim, thunder. Apparently, again, these dramatic weather events or meteorological events stopped. V'lo hichmitz yeinam, the wine stopped souring. V'lo laka pishtanam, and ultimately, again, their flax stopped getting ruined. V'nasnu chachamim b'Rabbi Chia ubanov. And I will say the rabbis attributed this to the schus of Rabbi Chia and his sons, who came from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. So it says, isn't this amazing? In the schus of Rabbi Chia and his sons, ultimately what happened? All of these detrimental events stopped happening in Eretz Yisrael. Yet, what is the Gemara saying? Yet the Gemara is saying over here that Rabbi Chia's flax was getting ruined by moths. So what's going on over here? Well, this is actually amazing. To which the Gemara says, Ki mahanya zechusayu a'alma. Rabbi Chia's zuchus was beneficial for who? For everyone else. Adido lo. But his zuchus did not work for him. So we'll say, so the zuchus of Rabbi Chia saved everyone else's flax. Whose flax did it not save? It didn't save his own. We will say this is a dramatic Gemara. Kid Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Dam Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. B'chol yom v'yom baskol yotzeis v'omeres. We will say every single day a baskol, a heavenly voice comes out and says, Kol ha'olam nizon b'shvil chanina b'ni. The entire world is sustained in the zechus, in the merit of my son Rabbi Chanina ben Trajion. Ve'chanina b'ni dailo b'kruv charuvin. And I will say ultimately again, my son Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, not Rabbi Chanina ben Trajion, excuse me. And the whole world is sustained because of my son Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, and for my son Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, dailo b'krav charuvin. My son Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, it's enough for him to eat a kav of caribs, may Erev Shabbos, the Erev Shabbos. So we'll say, so ultimately again, so what do you see? So halacha l'maisa again, an entire world is sustained. Ultimately in the zchus of Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, and my son Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa is sustained through, again, a kav of charuvin for each and every week. I will say, which tells you what? So the Gemara is using this as an example of someone whose merit benefits everyone else, but yet he himself doesn't really partake of that very same merit. We'll say, what's the lesson? The lesson is that sometimes the piety and the holiness that we generate ultimately, again, benefits the world even if we are not the direct beneficiaries of it. Isn't that amazing? That sometimes, again, very zichuyos that we generate don't benefit us, but then benefit the world around us. This is an incredible lesson. And I think this happens, we experience this very often in the world of tefillah as well. Sometimes we daven for something, and we don't get what we daven for. But lest you think that because we don't get what we daven for, our tefillos failed, it's not true. There's no such thing as an empty prayer. There's no such thing as a failed prayer. Every single thing we daven for, Rabbi say, yields positive results. Just sometimes it doesn't yield the positive results we wanted. Sometimes it didn't yield the positive results, ultimately, again, that we asked for, that we desired. But ultimately, again, those positive results are always there. In the same way that Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa only got a kav of charuvin, Rabbi Chia's flax was attacked, yet Rabbi Chia's zechus helped for everyone else's flax, and Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa's zechus helped to sustain the world. Incredible. So I'll say, so just to close out this sugya in a halacha l'maisa, so remember again, the Gemara says over here, the Shulchan Aruch paskins in this case in Simin Chav Ches. Let me just pull this up. In Simin Chav Ches, Sif Yud Zayin in the Shulchan Aruch. Give me a second. So the Shulchan Aruch says as follows: Hashochi vinis navlo biyado. If one shechts, and ultimately again the shchita is invalid, right? The animal turns into an avela. So what happens? O sheshachat v'nimtzas treifa. Or you go ahead and you shecht, and it turns out that the animal is a treifa. Pater milachasos. Ultimately, again, you are pater from kisui hadam. So we'll say what you begin to see is what? That halacha l'maisa, the mitzvah of kisui only applies to a regular act of shchita. If you do not, if your act does not result in a bona fide shchita, then halacha l'maisa, again, there is no mitzvah of kisui hadam. Good. So I'll say, so we paskin ultimately again like the Chachamim, who really the Gemara identifies as Rabbi Shimon in this particular circumstance. Beautiful. Weiter, Mishnah. Cheri shota the kan sheshachtu. We'll say if you have a cheri shota the kan who shechted an animal, v'achirim ro'ano some, and others see the shchita. So we'll say, remember again, this goes back to the first Mishnah in the Masechta. So what's the halacha? Ideally, we don't want a cheri shota of a katan to shecht, but if it's achirim omdin al gabon, if there are other people standing on top of the cheri shota of a katan, and ultimately again witness the shchita will be good. So cheri shota of a katan sheshachtu v'achirim ro'ano son chayv l'chasos. So we'll say, so these things kind of go hand in hand. If halacha l'maisa the shchita is good, then by definition, there is a mitzvah of kisui. There is a mitzvah ultimately again to cover the blood. Beinan lebein atzman. However, again, if halacha l'maisa, they go ahead and what? They go ahead and shecht, meaning without oversight, then patur lechasos, ultimately because we assume the shchita was not good, and therefore again, as we just said before, if the shchita is not good, there is no din of kisui. The chen le'inyan osovi espino, so too again the halacha. Right, in a case we'll say of shechting the mother and the child, sheshachtu v'achirim ro'ano son asur lishchot. So acharehem. So we'll say the halacha is same thing. If we see, let's say the cheri shot of a cotton and they shech the mother. If other people see the shchita, therefore again telling us that the shchita is a valid one. Therefore halacha l'maisa, you can't shecht the offspring in that type of situation. Beinan lebein atzman. We'll say what happens if the cheri shot of a cotton shecht on their own without oversight. Rabbi Meir matir lishchot acharehen. So Rabbi Meir says such a shchita is not good, and therefore again you could shecht. Let's say for example the daughter afterwards. The chachamim osrim, and the chachamim ultimately again say that it is aser. Umodim, but they agree shim shachat sheino safek es harban. And I will say the chachamim who say that it's aser will hold that in this type of circumstance, if they did shecht, they will not get malchus. Okay, so say here we go. So we'll say it's a fundamental issue. So the halacha essentially the Mishnah is telling me is that a cheri shot of a cotton, if there's oversight on their shchita, the shchita will be good, as we saw in the first Mishnah. The extension of that is that halacha l'maisa, if people saw the shchita, if people monitored the shchita, then halacha l'maisa is a chiyuv of kisei hadam. If people oversaw the shchita, then ultimately again there would be a din of oso vs bino. What happens if halacha l'maisa? Right now, interestingly enough, in the case of oso vs bino, Rabbi Meir ultimately says that it's mutter to shecht the offspring afterwards, and the Chachamim will say that it's aser. So we'll say that's the point the Gemara picks up on over here. For Rabbanan, ma'ishna reisha de lo pligi, ma'ishna sefer de pligi. Why is it that the Rabbanan argue on Rabbi Meir only in the second case of the Mishnah of Asovi Espino, and not in the case of Kisu, to which the Gemara says, I amrinan chayav en lachasos, amri shchita ma'al yasihi, va'asi lemechal mishchitasan. Because we'll say, essentially, the Rabbanan were concerned that if we say that the kisui hadam is a proper kisui, then what? People ultimately will go ahead and say that the food is fit for consumption. The shechita is good. To which the Gemara says, Sefer nami, kevan dekami Rabbanan asur lishchot achareim. But you can say the same thing by the second part of the Mishnah, will say, which is what? Which is that halacha l'maisa, if you say that you could shecht the mother after the cheri shot of a cut and shecht the daughter, that would also tell us, just the opposite. If you say that it's usher to shecht the daughter after you shechted the mother, people will say that the shechita of the mother was the proper shechita. Va'asi l'meichal mishchitasan. To which the Gemara says, Seifa Amri Bistra Lo Kami Boile. To which the Gemara says, no. If the Cherishot of a cotton shechted the mother, and you refrain from shechting the daughter, people won't come to say that the shechita was good. Rather, they'll just say that you didn't want the meat. Reishanami. But you can say the same thing by the beginning of the Mishnah. Amri Lenaker Chatzeruhu Tzarich. Ultimately, again, you could say that what? Why did he cover up the blood? Because he wanted to go ahead and clean up his courtyard. To which the Gemara says, but if that's the case, shachad ba'ashbamai, that works fine, meaning that svara works fine if you're shechting, let's say, in your house, right, or in a place of habitation. If you're shechting in the garbage dump, where you don't have to clean up everything, what is there to say? So the Gemara says, ba limlach mai. Similarly, again, if he comes to ask the shaila, and you have to rule decisively, what would you say? So Michael Mimar, and according to that logic, seifa nami ba limlach Michael Mimar. But you can say the same thing in the seifa case of al soviet spino. What happens if he comes to ask the shaila, and you have to rule decisively? Ella, rather, Rabbi say, the Gemara says as follows: Rabbanan akula milsa pligi. Rabbi say, in reality, the Rabbanan argue in all of these cases, right? Rabbi say, both cases are a machlokes, Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim. Named Rabbi say, halacha lemaisa, the machlokes is the same. There are two cases in the Mishnah. Cases, right. The first case is kiseh hadam. Second case is osovi espino. The cases are the same. Both cases have two parts. In part one of the case, someone is overseeing the shechita of the cherishot of a cotton. What happens if someone is overseeing the shechita of the cherishot of a cotton? What's the status of the shechita? The shechita is good. If the shechita is good, then what? You're chayiv in kisui, and the prohibition of osovi espino sets in. What happens if someone is not overseeing the shechita? So we'll say here we have the machlokas. According to the Chachamim ultimately say. According to Rabbi Meir says if somebody's not overseeing the shechita, then the shechita is not good. Therefore, again, you would be pater from covering the blood and pater from osovi espino. The Chachamim argue on both cases and will say even if someone's not looking, right, not overseeing the shechita, you're still chayiv in kisui and pater and chayiv in osovi espino. So the Gemara says, why don't the Rabbanan argue on the Reisha as well? Ella, Rabbanan akula milsa pligi. The rabbis argue in both cases. V'natri le Rabbi Meir ad demasik le milsa v'hader pligi iluya. So I'll say the answer is the Rabbanan have good midos. And what do? They wait to argue until when? Until Rabbi Meir finishes speaking. So first, right, the Mishnah finishes out both cases according to Rabbi Meir, and only then do the Rabbanan weigh in. So Bishlama Rabbanan l'chumra. So we'll say, I understand the Rabbanan are going l'chumra. The Rabbanan say even in cases where no one is monitoring, overseeing, right, the shechita of the cherishot of a cotton, we still have to treat it l'chumra. Therefore, we're going to make them chayiv in kisui and chayiv in osovi espino. So the Gemara says, El Rabbi Meir my time. But we'll say, what's Rabbi Meir's logic for being mekel? Am Rabbi Yaakov, Am Rabbi Yochanan, nechayiv hay Rabbi Meir al shechitasan mishum nevela. So we'll say, so the Brisa says as follows: Rabbi Yaakov said to Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Meir ultimately again said that you're chayiv on their shechita because of nevela. So we'll say, so what does that mean? My taima, Am Rabbi Ami, horav v'rov ma'aseh mechukalim. So we'll say, Rabbi Ami said ultimately again that the majority of the times that a chirish, shota, v'katan do something, it's mikukalin, right? The majority, the rov is that they botch things. In general, they botch things. So we'll say they don't have das. Therefore, again, the assumption is the rov ma'aseh mikukalin. Therefore, applying that to shechita, we would make the general assumption that they don't know what to do for shechita. So because they don't know what to do for shechita, therefore we assume that the shechita is invalid. Rav Papa said, Rav Papa, my irya rov afilu miut. But say the truth is you don't even need to say rov. You don't even have to say that a cherishot of a cotton majority of time batches stuff up. Rather, again, even if you say the miut, even if you say a minority of the time they batch things up, we still won't treat their shechita as good. Why not? Because also Rabbi Meir himself is choshesh For a miut, first of all, look at Rashi. My area rova filu miut. Ma'asem mechukalim v'rum to karim have a pshitol and denevela. We'll say even if you say that the majority of times a chiri shot of a cotton does do things correctly, and only a minority of the time do they mess things up, we would still consider their shchita to be an avela. Why is that? Here we go. I'll say because Rabbi Meir is choshesh lemiuta. That's number one, right? And what happens? Samach miuta lechazaka. Go ahead and combine the miut. The miut is that a minority of the time a cherishot of a cotton mess stuff up. Combine that with a chazaka. Rabbi say, what's the chazaka? A chazaka of the behema is that a chazaka. Rabbi say the chazaka of the behema is what? Is that it's Ever Min Achai. Right? The chazaka of the behema is that it's alive. If it's alive, then it's the isra of Ever Min Achai. So take the miut. The miut is the minority of the times that a cherishot of a cotton mess stuff up. Combine that with a chazaka, a cheskas isser of a behema of Ever Min Achai, the Israelite ruba. And I will say, what does that do? That goes in and chips away and ultimately diminishes or takes away the impact of the rove. So we'll say, this is amazing. So the Gemara said, the reason why when a cherishot of a cotton do a shchita unsupervised, that it's going to be an avela is because rov ma'asin mekukalin. The majority of times they batch stuff up. The Gemara just says, even if you don't say that, even if you only say the minority of the time they batch stuff up, the shchita will still be an avela. Why? Because it will say, Rabbi Meir is choshesh miuta. Even if you say the miut of times that a cherishot of a cotton batch stuff up, take that miut, attach it to the chazaka. What's the chazaka? Cheskas behema b'chaya, or I should say, behema b'chaya b'cheskas isur omedes. Right, a behema is a cheskas isur of Ever Min Achai. Take the miut, attach it with the chazaka, and I will say, what does that do? That fundamentally undermines the rove, and therefore tells you that halacha l'maisa, the animal will be in avela. To which the Gemara says, Disnan, here we go. Tinok shenim tzavis ala isa is a fascinating case. You find the baby sitting by the side of dough, ubatsek biyado, and ultimately again he's holding a piece of dough in his hands. So we'll say, what's the halacha? Rabbi Meir mitar. So Rabbi Meir says it's tahar. So I'll say, Rabbi Meir will say the dough is tahar. The chachamim mitamin. And the chachamim ultimately say that the dough is tameh. Why? Because I will say it's the normal way of children to play in garbage dumps. And what are you going to find in a garbage dump? This is Talmudic times. Kids are much low maintenance children, right? What do you find in a garbage dump? Dead rodents, right? So, and what do you do when you find a dead rodent? You play with it. So let's say, so what happens? So therefore, again, children we assume that a stam tinok is tameh. So the kid is tameh, and we'll say, what happens? So we'll say, and what happens? So ultimately, again, so let's put all this together. Stam tinok plays in the ashba. Therefore, we assume he touched a rodent. There's a piece of dough in his hand. We assume, where did that piece of dough come from? The big dough, right? The big dough. And therefore, we assume that what? He touched the dough. Therefore, what? The dough will be tameh. What's Rabbi Meir's logic? So that's the chachamim. Why does Rabbi Meir hold that the dough is going to be mutter or going to be tar? To which the Gemara says, Kasara rov tinokos metapchin. He holds that the majority of tinokos, the majority of children, play around in the garbage dump. Umiut in metapchin, but a minority does not. The isa zu becheskas tara omedas. And on both sides, the dough has a cheskas tara amud beis. Samuch miuta lechazaka. So therefore, we'll say, what should you do? Take the miut. What's the miut? Take the miut, I will say, ultimately, again, of the miut tinokos who don't play in the garbage dump. Go ahead and combine that with the chazaka of the dough, which is the cheskas tara, the Israeli ruba, and it chips away ultimately again at the rove of tinokos. It chips away at the rove ultimately again of the children who are tameh. So we'll say, so again, something amazing happens over here, which is that halacha l'maisa, you begin to see Rabbi Meir's shita of ultimately going ahead, taking the miut, going ahead and combining it with a chazaka, and a miut together with a chazaka fundamentally erodes the rove. So says the Gemara, im amru safek tumah l'tayr, yomru safek isra lahatir. So I'll say ultimately again, if halacha l'maisa, they said that a safek tumah ultimately again will create taro. Will we say a safek isra will be matir? To which the Gemara says, Hora Rabbi Meir, Hora Rabbi Meir, V'Hora Rabbi Kechachamim. ultimately, again, what do you begin to see? That Rabbi Halacha Lamaisa paskin like Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi also paskin like the Chachamim. So Heimina Dachris. So the shaila is which one? That's nice that Rabbi paskin like both, but I will say that leaves us with a fundamental shaila, which is, but who did he paskin with last? Remember again, we'll say Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim do not agree with each other. It's a machlokes. So remember again, Rabbi say this is the fundamental issue in our Mishnah about what you do with an unsupervised shchita by a cherish shota v'katan. Rabbi Meir says the shchita is totally not good. Therefore, halacha l'maisa, again, no chiyuv of kisui, no chiyuv of osovies beno. And the chachamim say, yes, there is a chiyuv of kisui and the chiyuv of osovies beno. So now we have Rebbe kind of going on record paskening like both, but which one was the latter psak of Rebbe? To which the Gemara says, here we go. Tashmad, Rabbi Abba, Breid Rabbi Chia, Bar Abba, Rabbi Zera, Havukaimi, Beshuka, de Kesari, Apischa, de Midrasha. So the Gemara tells a story that one time Rabbi Abba, Breid Rabbi Chia, Bar Abba, and Rabbi Zera were in the marketplace of Kesaria, and they were standing at the entranceway of the Beis Medrash. Nafik Rabbi Ami, Ashkechinhu. So Rabbi Ami came out and he found them. Amalu, he said to them, have I not told you many times, but inon be midrashu, when the Beis Medrash is in session, lo takimu abroi, do not stand outside of the Beis Medrash, right? When we're learning in the Beis Medrash, don't stand outside. Dilma, ika inishtem mitzrichale, because maybe someone's going to need you. Dilma inishtem mitzrichale shmaita, va'asila trudei, because maybe we're going to need you to weigh in on some type of halachic discussion, and you're not going to be there. No one's going to know where you are, and people are going to make mistakes. So Rabbi Zera went inside the Beis Medrash. Rabbi Abba lo all. So Rabbi Abba did not go in. Yossi v'kami boile. So the following question came up. Heimina achrisa. Rabbi say, who did Rabbi hold like in the latest iteration or in the last iteration of the Mishnah? Did he hold like the Chachamim or like Rabbi Meir? Amrulu Rabbi Zera. So Rabbi Zera said, Lo shav kasun li the ishayli l'saba. Had you told me about this before, you didn't give me a chance to ask the elder. Rashi says, Lo shav kusan di shayle, lo ayisi yodeh shahaisa she'ela zu bifnim, ba'odi eitz Rabbi Abba va'ayisi shalo. Had you told me this question while I was still standing outside with Rabbi Abba, I could have asked him this question. Why? So the Gemara says, Dilma Shemiale be'avua, because me Rabbi Abba heard this from his father, the avua minei Rabbi Yochanan, and his father would have heard it directly from Rabbi Yochanan. To Rabbi Chia bar Abba, because most Rabbi Chia bar Abba called Tlasin Yoma, Kama Hadar Talmudi Kamed Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Abba's father, ultimately again went ahead and reviewed his learning in front of Rabbi Yochanan every 30 days. Okay, so my Haviyallah, so bottom line, I will say, how did Rabbi Paskin? Tashma the Shalach Rabbi Elazar Lagola, Rabbi Elazar sent word to the diaspora, Hoda Rabbi Rabbi Meir. Ultimately, again, Rabbi Paskin like Rabbi Meir, the Haki Rabbanon Nami Orila. But yet he also passed like the Rabbanon, Elalav Shmamina. Ultimately, again, rather, what do you see from here? Had the achrisa, that this was the latter one. Both says, take a look at Rashi in just a moment. Tashma, the Shalach Rabbi Lazar have a yodim shar Rebbe ki Rabbi Meir. Va'acheres lo chash lodim. So apparently, again, both say shmamina, had the achrisa shmamina. Rather, it appears that Rebbe's last psak was in accordance with Rabbi Meir and not like the Chachamim. And I both say that is indeed what is codified by the Shulchan Aruch. So remember again, the Shulchan Aruch Paskin is actually the same. It's actually the same halach as we quoted before. Cherish shota v'katan sheshachtu ve'ein achirim rona. So we'll say so it's the same siman in Shulchan Aruch. Siman chav ches sif tes zayin. V'cherish shota v'katan sheshachtu. If you have a cherish shota v'katan who shechted, and what happened? Ve'ein achirim roan osan. No one else oversaw the shchita. What's the halacha? Cheskas shchitasan nikukeles. Upetura mikisui. Both say we assume that an unsupervised shchita by a cheri shota v'katan is in fact what? A shchita mikulkeles is in fact considered to be an invalid shchita, and therefore again will be pater from kisui. So both say we see that indeed we paskin like Rabbi Meir against the Chachamim. Beautiful. Let's go weiter. Shachat mea chayos b'makom echad. Both say here we go. You shecht 100 animals in one place. Busy day. 100 animals in one place. Right? Kisui echad l'kulam. So we'll say the point of the Mishnah is making over here is that what? you could essentially shecht in rapid succession and just do one act of kisui when you finish shechting. If you go ahead and you shecht 100 ofos in one place, kisui echad lekulan. Same thing Rabbi say. One act of kisui works for all of them. Chaya va'of b'makom echad. Rabbi says actually interesting. What happens if you shecht a chaya and an oaf? So we'll say up until now we're dealing with shechting a whole bunch of the same min, a bunch of chayos, a bunch of ofos. What happens if you shecht a chaya and an oaf at once? What's the halacha? So kisui echad lekulan. You could still do one kisui for both. Rabbi Huda says shachat chayi chaseno va'achar kach yishchot asav. Rabbi Huda disagrees and he says no. We'll say if you're shechting a chaya and an oaf, then what? Those two things require two separate kisuis. I should say two separate kisuyim. Here we go. Chaya kol mashma bein right. I'm sorry. Chaya kol mashma chaya bein meruba bein mu'etes. So we'll say, so again, what the Gemara is dashing over here is the word chaya. The word chaya can be understood, kol mashma chaya, meaning hakol mashma, means everything. Chaya, although it sounds like the singular, so we'll say sometimes in biblical Hebrew, the singular can include a larger group as well. Therefore, when the Torah says chaya, it means even if you're shechting many chayos, ultimately, again, you could go ahead and cover many chayos with one kisui. So the Gemara says, Of kol mashma, of bein meruba, bein muat. Mikan amru shachat me'achayos b'makom echad kisui echad lekun. Rabbi say based on this drasha we said that even if you shechted again 100 chayos in one place, one kisui suffices for everything. Me'ofos b'makom echad. If you went ahead and you shechted 100 birds in one place, kisui echad lekulan. Ultimately, again, one kisui suffices for them all. Chayav va'open makom echad, kisui echad lekulan. So we'll say first wide line, pei vavam base. Similarly, if you went ahead and you shechted a chay and an oaf in one place, one kisui is sufficient. Rabbi Huda Omer, no, shachat chaye chasena. Va'achar kach yishchot es ha'of. Rabbi Huda disagrees. He says no. If you shecht the chaya and then you're going to shecht an oaf, you should shecht the chaya, do kisui, cover up the blood, and only then should you subsequently shecht the oaf and then cover the blood after that. Shene'emar chaya o oaf. So we'll say Huda's drasha is based on the fact that the pasuk says chaya o oaf. So the pasuk itself distinguishes between a chaya and between an oaf. Amru lo, but they said to him, Harehu Omer, but yet the pasuk says, Ki nefesh kol basar damo b'nafshohu. But ultimately, again, the pasuk says, because the nefesh, literally again, the life of every flesh, damo b'nafsho, its blood is in its life or in its nefesh. So my kamahajile. So we'll say, so what does this mean? So remember again, Rabbi Huda's drush is clear. Rabbi Huda says the fact that the pasuk says chaya o oaf. The rabbis responded to Rabbi Huda and they said, Ki nefesh kol basar damo b'nafsho. What does that mean? My kamahajile. Haki ka'amru de rabbanon. This is what the Rabbanon said to Rabbi Huda. Rabbi Huda, you're darshaning chaya o oaf to teach me that what? You could shecht 100 chayas and suffice it with one kisui. You could shecht 100 ofos and take care of it with one kisui. If you're shechting a chaya or an oaf, then what? Each of those require their own different kisui. The Rabbanon respond, they say, no. Hay o mi bailil chalik. So the Rabbanon Rabbosai say to Rabbi Yehuda, they say ultimately what? That drush is already taken. That O Rabbosai teaches me a different halacha, lechalik. We'll say, what does the chalik mean? See, without that O, I would have thought, as Rashi points out, if you look at Rashi, lechalik, the I lav O, hava kisui el inkin shachat shnehen. So I would have thought, without the O, I would have thought that the halacha of kisui only applies when you have both a chayo and an oaf. But O comes along to teach me that what? Even if I only have a chaya or an oaf, that also goes ahead and triggers an obligation of kisui. To which the Gemara Rabbi Huda, lechalik midamo nafka. Rabbi Huda will say darshins. He says, no, I agree with that premise that of course it's either chaya or oaf. You don't need both. But what? I can learn that out ultimately again from the word midamo. We'll say damo is possessive from its blood. So you have to cover the blood of the chaya or the blood of the oaf. You don't need both. Rather, the shechting of one triggers the obligation. V'rabanan damo tuva mashma. Ultimately, again, according to the Rabbanon, ultimately, again, they darshan that damo has a connotation of many. So the Gemara says, Dichsiv ki nefesh kol basar damo benafshohu. So the Rabbanan will say that the word damo teaches me that what? Even if I have many bloods, right? Which means what? Even if I have the bloods of chayos and ophos together, I can still do one kisui ultimately again for both of those things. So we have a fundamental machlokes. So let's go with what everybody agrees with. Everyone agrees with that what? 100 ophos, how many kisuis do you need? 1. 100 behemos, how many do you need? 1. What happens if it's a behema and a chaya? That's the machlokes case. You have Rabbi Meir ultimately telling me, the Chachamim telling me, or the Rabbanan telling me, that ultimately, again, I only need one act of covering, and I have Rabbi Huda telling me that halacha lemaisa, we need 2 different acts of covering. Rabbi Chanina, Modahay Rabbi Meir le'inyan bracha, shenu mavarech ela bracha achas. But I will say, interestingly enough, Rabbi Chanina says that even Rabbi Huda is actually quite interesting. Even Rabbi Huda, who says that you require a separate act of kisui for the blood of a chaya and the blood of an oath, will hold that you don't need to make another bracha of shchita. And I will say this is quite interesting. What this is saying over here, Yonasan, we're going to stop in a moment. So what this is saying over here is that halacha l'maisa as follows. Rabbi Huda is of the opinion who says that halacha l'maisa, you can't do one act of kisui for a behema and the chaya. Therefore, we'll say what has to happen? You shech the chaya, kisui, shech the behema, kisui. And I will say, what I would have thought was, when I shech the chaya and I do kisui, that's a hefsek then. Then when I go ahead and I shech the behema, what do I have to do? I have to make another bracha. Kamash Shmuel and Rabbi say that is not the case. Kamash Shmuel, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the halacha is that one bracha of shchita suffices. You make a bracha of shchita, let's say on the chaya, even though you do the kisui afterwards, you do not need to make a second bracha on the behema. Rather, that first bracha covers everything. So the Gemara says, "Amar Ravina Ravacha Bered Rav, Amar Ravacha Bered Ravashi, Ma'ishna mitamidei derav." The Rav Barona, so I will say, why the difference than the teaching of the Talmidei Rav? The Rav Barona of Chananel Talmidei Rav Havu Yasi Besuda. So because what's this? I will say, Rav Barona of Chananel, with the Talmidim of Rav, they were once sitting in the Suda. Karmalei Rav Yeba Sava, Rav Yeba Sava was standing above them. Amrulei, they said to him, Hav Levarich. So I will say, they're sitting and they're having a Suda and saying, you know what? Let's bench. And then what happened? Like what happens often in a Suda, someone opened another good bottle of wine. Amrulei have lishti. They said, hey, you know what? Before we bench, there's always time for l'chaim, right? Amrulei Rav Yeva Saba, that's fine. But Hachi Amarav, Kevan da Amar have levarich, it's sarle mishtei chamra. So we'll say, so remember again, once you say let's bench, we'll say let's bench means what? The meal is over. Once the meal is over, then what? Now, listen, don't get nervous. You could still drink, right? But what? You have to make another bracha. So I'll say, so what do you see from here? Once you conclude, so Gemara is suggesting the same way that once you can say, let's bench, right? The suda is over, you have to make a bracha. So too again, when you shech the chaya and you now engage in the midst of kisui, that act of shechita is over, which means when you subsequently shech the behema, what should you have to do? You should have to make another bracha. Once you go ahead and what? You shecht the behema, or you shecht the chaya, and you do the kisui, the act of shechita has come to a conclusion, which means that when you engage in the subsequent act of shechita, you should have to what? Have to make a new bracha. Tirvosei tapa peizayin, hachi hashta, hasam mishta ubruchi behadi adadi lo efshar. Here's the difference. In the case of benching, you can't bench and drink at the same time. Although many people try this, right? You actually can't bench and drink at the same time. Those are exclusive acts. Therefore, when you say let's bench, that effectively brings to a conclusion your act of su'uda. The su'uda is completed, is done. Therefore, again, if you want to drink, halacha l'maisa what? You have to go ahead and make a new bracha. However, again, hacha efshar d'shachit bechada umachsi bechada. I will say, actually, there can be simultaneity between shchita and kisui hadam. But also, how could there be simultaneity? Halacha l'maisa, you could check with one hand, cover with the other hand. and therefore, again, because there can be simultaneity, therefore the act of kisui does not create the hefsek, and therefore, again, you go ahead and you shech, according to Rabbi Huda, you shech the animal, you go ahead and cover the blood of, let's say, the chaya, shech the behema, cover the blood, and you do not require a second bracha on the shechita. Then I will say now, for our purposes, halacha lemaisa, it's somewhat academic because the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you could engage in one act of kisui for both behemos and chayos. So for our purposes, halacha lemaisa, there's no difference between 100 chayos, 100 behemos, or a mixture of chayos and behemos. One act of kisui could suffice for many chayos and behemos. There's a bris this morning, so we just have to quickly, if we all work together, we could just rearrange the room quickly for the bris. Yonason, tell us what to do.